told me on the radio, our frontal lobes don't develop risk assessment until we're 25. Maybe that explains why, on the approach, we all seem to be risk assessing in hindsight. Being a little paralysed, frozen in the headlights, standing on the thinnest part of the ice, wondering why we spent...
My name's Jess Green and I'm a performance poet. That's what I'm going to be doing this evening. In terms of writing something that I've always done. I can't remember a time when I didn't, and then I went to university and did a creative writing degree in Liverpool, and then up there I discovered a real kind of spoken word performance poetry scene, and started doing it up there, and then I lost my job in Liverpool, had to come back to Leicester, and I've just carried on doing it, and that's what I do for a living now, which is quite a nice position to be in. I was doing a gig at the Cookie in town for an Everybody's Reading Festival event, and I met Jim and we did some work together, and it worked really well, and we did a collaboration there, and so we thought because it had gone so well we'd try it out again. I've been kind of part-time poet for about 2 or 3 years, and I've had a part-time job which has supported me with that, and then recently, past few months, I've given up my part-time job and it's what I'm doing full-time now, which is a bit scary, but it's good fun. So I think when I'm writing for myself, it's generally it's often things that I feel quite strongly about, or I feel that I really need to say something about. But then often I'm more like I write commissions, so I have to write something on a theme, and with that sort of thing I often I'm really interested in like individual people's stories. I really don't like celebrity, and I really like sort of average people walking around living their lives and how interesting that is, and I like kind of looking at little details and things like that. So often when I'm writing, that'll always be a starting point to looking at the average person walking down the street. In terms of poets, inspirations, I like people like Roger McGough, Caroline Duffy. Then there's obviously like performance poets I really like Kate Tempest, Holly Bleach, Luke Wright. So yeah, lots of people. Oh, my first ever gig, performance poetry gig, was in Liverpool, and I think I'd been going to this pub and kind of doing the open mic spot every week for about 6 months, and I think eventually they felt sorry for me and gave me a slot. So I did that. So that was my first gig out of Leicester. My first gig in Leicester. What was my first gig in Leicester? I can't remember. I did spend a lot of time just going around pubs and just doing poetry on open mic, even when they didn't even want any poetry. It was just like, you know, the rest of it was like a man with a guitar, and I'll get up and do a poem. And then I don't know. I can't remember what my first gig was. I kind of, because there weren't many opportunities to perform, I set up my own night, which is Find the Right Words, which goes on at the Cookie every month, which I kind of set that up to give me an excuse to be able to perform every month. So I don't know, I can't remember what my first gig was in Leicester. I think that in terms of performance poetry, be prepared to embarrass yourself. Be prepared to, you will forget your words, you will embarrass yourself on stage, but hopefully that will happen less and less the more you do it, and you'll learn to cope with it better, and the good times will override some of the more difficult times. I think also, like, you don't even need to be confident. I'm not confident at all, but as long as you can pretend to be confident when you're on stage, that's all that matters. As long as you can fool people, that's all that matters really. Rock scene's really growing. I think it's grown it grew, I was away for 4 years, and it grew just in the time that I was away in the past couple of years. I think things like the City of Culture bid were really helpful with that. And I think we didn't get it, but I kind of echo a lot of what the mayor said about we didn't get the title of City of Culture, but do we really need it when we're doing all these things anyway? I think it's really eclectic. I mean, I was in a show last week that was like poetry, drama, dance, and I think that kind of sums up what it's just like in terms of being a mixing bowl of different arts. In terms of things change, I mean, like anything, I just wish there was more money around, more money for artists, but I think that's like anything really, isn't it? Yep. 5 years, 29, I don't know, what do I want to be doing then? I'd be quite happy to still just be doing this. I love what I'm doing now. It's lovely being able to make a living from what I like doing. I work in schools, I work with the probation service, I do lots of work with groups of people. It's nice just spending all day talking about poetry and writing, and then being able to do a gig in the evening. I think it's great. So as long as I'm doing this, I'll be happy. My name is Jess Green and you're watching Leicester Jazz House TV.